All right, everybody. I am getting ready to start in just a minute here. Before beginning, I kind of just want to recap about some of the things that we discussed last week. I know we had a very great conversation about healing, learning your love language, being present, and just recognizing the ways that you have to show up for yourself amongst other people as well. And sometimes people can't give you what they don't have. And you're sometimes operating out of a space of fear instead of love. So I actually wrote a spoken word piece that I wanted to start today off with before we dive into our conversation. And it kind of just came randomly. So here we go. Y'all are not willing to be put into a boxing ring, dodging hits left and right, but y'all are quick to stand tall, even quicker of trying to claim fame and be against everyone involved. But the real winner is the one who can go back with the most rounds while taking those hits, embracing every blow and punch that comes their way. The warrior is the one who has been defeated and got back up again. Ask yourself, how much do you have in you to fight for you? Are you willing to sacrifice instant gratification to see the end result? Understanding the delay and that dilemmas are there. So before you are quick to judge the next person, realize that real ones can see through those lies. So stop trying to run and hide from yourself or being comfortable with remaining disguised. That's the end of my piece. Thanks, y'all. I wrote that just out of a space of saying that sometimes we like to hide, and that may be easier to do. It's easier to put on a mask, to act like we're okay, to say, when people ask you how you're doing, to say, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. Because that's the quick response when really we may not be okay. We may be dealing with some things that day. We may be emotional. We may have been hurt. We may have been disappointed by somebody. And sometimes it's easier to say, I'm good and I'm okay, because you don't really want to face your truth. But when we talk about love languages or showing up for ourselves and being authentic, that's not being genuine. Is dismissing yourself because you feel like this person may not be in a space to hear it. But you never know unless you ask. So I encourage everybody, with anybody that you talk to, communicate with, whoever it may be, a friend, a coworker, significant other, ask them, like, if someone asks you, are you okay? Or how are you doing? And you're not okay. You're not in that great space. Maybe your question to them would be, are you in a space to actually able to receive what I have to say? Are you able to listen? Can you listen to me without providing me with advice? Because sometimes we don't need your perspective and opinion or advice. We just need somebody to listen to us. We just need to go on a rampage sometimes because we know the answers. For the most part, we do. And it's like, okay, I can kind of talk myself through this, but you just want somebody to listen. And then you have the answers at the end of the conversation. But sometimes even in those moments when people provide you with their perspective and advice, it steers what you already know. So then now you questioning yourself and your own thoughts because you're like, well, I didn't think about that. And maybe it wasn't for you to think about. So be mindful of the advice that you get from other people. Be careful with the things that you consume. Somebody had told me this, and it changed the way that I operated. Like, everybody can't have your best interest at heart because they aren't you. And so we sometimes set these unrealistic and unspoken expectations onto people, and they don't even know it. Because while this is the way that we may show up for them, that's not the way that they can show up for us. So I think when we talk about, tying into our love languages and the way we're able to communicate the things that we need, that looks different for everybody. And we can't hold this one standard to every single person in our lives because nobody is the same. Nobody. And the relationships that you build with people are different. So even recognizing which category this friend or person, an individual in your life is. Is this a business relationship? Is it strictly professional? Is this a platonic friendship? Is it romantic? Is this somebody that you actually connect with? And then what is that connection about? So you have different tiers and different levels. And sometimes we get those connections and roles confused, and they can become blended depending on where we are in our lives and the things that we may need. you go through different seasons in your life, and especially those seasons when you're down, it's the people that you wouldn't expect to be there for you that's there for you the most. And sometimes your immediate people. And sometimes the reason that could be also is because we're not communicating with our immediate people the ways in which they need to show up for us. I say that because that was me. I am surrounded by a lot of great people in my life. And there were people that I wasn't able to really just be honest with. Like, guys, I'm struggling. And I recognized it was because of the way that they viewed me. And it wasn't about them, it was about me and my own fears. And so my therapist had encouraged me, like, reach out to your immediate tribe and just tell them what you need from them. And I did it. And these people have been in my life for like 5, 6, last couple years. And it was refreshing to finally just break that barrier. And they were all proud of me because they like, this, you would have never done this. And they started showing up for me in the way that I needed them to. And now it's reciprocated, because I'm always the one like going to give or being there for people, being that listening ear for them, that I felt like in some ways I wasn't receiving that back. So I had to go to an outsource. When I'm like, you guys are amazing friends and people, why am I not allowing myself to just stay in this realm here? And it was because I didn't want to feel like I was a burden to them. But I'm like, if these are the people that I call my best friend and in my immediate tribe, then why should the dynamic be? And it was because I carried that weight of trying to be the strong friend that I wasn't allowing me to share my own stuff with them. And once that dynamic changed, it was like, oh, this is why you guys are my immediate tribe, because you do show up for me in the way that I need you to. But it wasn't until I was able to communicate how I need that to be done. They only were giving me what they knew how, because I didn't create that environment where they felt like they can trust themselves enough to just do it on their own. So I had to welcome them in. And so I say that too, to reflect and to think about, how are you with the people that you call yours? The ones that you go to, is it reciprocated? We talk about reciprocity, but making sure that you are allowing those people to be there for you in the way that's needed. I'm done for now.
Excellent. Oh my God, that was just, you hit home in so many different areas. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. Thank you so much for your spoken word, girl. Thank you for everything. You just, yes, I'm here for it. um, last week, you shared with us the love language, the link to find out what our love languages were, and we emailed them out. But I actually wanted to do I wanted to go on the website right now and just do like a live quiz real quick for anyone that didn't get a chance to go onto the link. I want to go ahead and do that really quickly, and then Linda, we would love to hear from you once that is complete. So okay. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to do the quiz, and then we'll send another email out once the event is over with, just in case you didn't get a chance to partake in it last week. 1 second. Okay, so based off the test, we see that I love acts of service more. That's more meaningful to me than anything. And next, I love words. I mean, sorry, acts of service. Next, I love words of affirmation and physical touch. And quality time and receiving gifts are at 13%. I really love to be there for others, and I really love for others to be there for me in meaningful ways. Even if it's just like I'll wash the dishes. It don't have to be that, but just something small like that, just to be like, let me help you out in ways that it's like it's beneficial to you in some type of way. So I just encourage everyone to go ahead and like I'm gonna send the another link out if you haven't taken this test to just see like kind of where you gauge at, and then look at this of the way that you love for your love language to be expressed from others, but also from yourself as well. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get out of here. Okay. All right. And Linda, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. A
Hi.
couple of people. Hi. Couple of people on here. I haven't heard anything from like Gail and the Kool-Aid kid. Are they there? That's okay. Ashley, the affirmation. Hi. The affirmation was great, and your words. I was thinking about masks. And in this world, it seems like we always have to have on some type of mask. Especially women in leadership. I feel as though I always have to show up as the strong, level-headed, everything is in control, calm down, everything is going to be all right. I feel as though I have to always be that person. I'm not going to say that's a mask, but in a way, I have to I have to show that part of me, and I may not be feeling my best, or I may be going through something myself. I may be not 100% myself. So uh, that's good what you said, and even talking to someone about that, how to let other people in, because I know I am perceived as strong, but sometimes I'm just not. Ah! My inner little girl would be crying, but that's another thing. I can't show that my inner person is crying. I have to wear that mask of strength, because, and I got that from my mother. If I crumble, everybody else I know is gonna lose it. So I guess I'm gonna need some time out and some uh, really be in tune with myself, and that I need. And I'm not saying I don't get the love and support that I need. I just sometimes, no, I'm not doing okay. I'm not okay. I'm not in my best place or space, and this is why. So that's some good stuff. Good stuff. I was glad to hear that. I got something from that myself. And I haven't done the love language book, but I'm going to get off into that. But that still makes me think you got to be in a good place to be conscious of your presence. Where, what, what am I under the influence of? Am I under the influence of positive stuff, or am I letting negative stuff? Am I carrying that around? Because that's where your energy and vibration will be what you're under the influence of. And it takes some time out and some pausing to be like, wait a minute, where am I at? What am I under the influence of? And being real and honest with yourself, and shifting to a better mindset, because again, the battle is in the mind. It is. And
Absolutely.
that's what I have to say for now.
Thank you.
So I think that um, I feel like everybody can, can relate to what you said. Like we do as women, especially as Black women, we have to carry this narrative of like being the strong Black woman. But then you get to that point where you recognize that when you're not okay, you start breaking down. And so for me to recognize that point, it was like, I don't want this title. I don't want to carry this weight and pressure anymore. I want to learn how to continue to show up as my authentic self while remaining strong, but also being authentic. And so I understand that, especially for some of us in our work fields and our professional lives, that I feel like that's an element of where we kind of have to put on that face, right? Especially on days where we're not strong, because people still need what we have to deliver. But I think there's a certain line between putting on this face to get through a day and putting on this face as if this is our reality and acting as if we're okay when we're not. So that's kind of the area of where I stress that a lot more. And so I understand maybe you can't always have these moments in front of your boss and allow yourself to break down in front of that in that environment. But there definitely should be at least a few people where you can feel safe enough to let that wall down, to cry and be like, listen, I had to work all day and I still had to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not okay with that. Allow yourself to have those moments to cry. Allow yourself to be real with yourself. Like, listen, this is the space that I used to operate out of when I was a child, when I was a teenager, when I was a young adult. Learning that process of forgiveness and being able to say to yourself, you know what? This is the things that I used to do because I didn't know any better. But now today, I'm learning how to be a new person. I'm giving myself that grace and compassion to show up as myself. And before, I didn't know how. Showing up and recognizing that some days it's okay to take a step back and only give the bare minimum, because that's what you have. Sometimes the bare minimum is your best efforts. And I think that comes with trying to, we feel as though we can't take that moment to pause, like you said, to take that moment to really just to catch our breath, because if we stop as women and we're the foundation of everything, what would happen? But my thing that I become more certain about is what happens to you when you don't stop. And we sometimes get so far off the edge, and then you see us, becoming sick. We're stressed out. We have these emotions. We end up in the hospital. We don't recognize how much stress affects our day-to-day life. And so we just keep piling stuff on top of piling stuff on top of piling stuff. And then you have these breakdowns. And then you get to that point and you like, in your tribe looking at you like, well, why didn't you reach out? Why didn't you say something? And everybody, and sometimes you're that go-to person for everybody. And that's what I say. Like, I was the go-to person for everybody. And while in some areas, yes, they were showing up, but I still wasn't getting that relief, because I didn't allow them to come into my space fully. I didn't create that environment to say, you know what, when I need help, can I come to y'all? And while there was certain things, and I know you got certain people in your lives for certain things. You may not go to your homegirl of, for men issues, but you may go to your best friend for that. But recognizing that there's people that's going to love you no matter what, no matter how wrong you have done, no matter how much you may have not been a good friend, no matter the times that you didn't show up for yourself, there's people out there that will love you unconditionally, just simply for being you and for learning, for taking that journey to be your authentic self. I call them my tribe for sure. And these are the girls that's been in my life since I was a freshman in college. And I look at where we are now. Well, there's a few people that have fallen off and I may not have those relationships. There's 4 people presently that I've literally met from the first day of college, and we are still friends up until now, going on 8 years. And that transformation, we talk about that all the time, because y'all, I was not a good friend, okay, to all of them at some point in my life. And I remember specifically my freshman year, and I talk about this a lot. I call them my tribe because they literally showed me what family was when I did not have my family. I had moved away to Kalamazoo to begin college at Western, and that was my first time outside of Detroit ever in my life. And that week before I started college, I had just walked away from having my mom's funeral. And my family wasn't there because I was the strong one. They knew that I was going to be okay because I had helped take care of everybody in my family who passed away prior to that. And so my support system looked different then. And these were the people that kind of just popped up into my life, and God blessed me with them. And I am so thankful for them, but they could have walked away many a times and they didn't. And to be where we are now and to see the growth in all of us, it's amazing, but it took hard work. And I think we don't think about that. Like, as much energy as we put into our relationships with significant other, it's the same type of energy that we need to put into ourselves. It's the same type of energy that we need to put into our friendships, because your friends are there sometimes when your significant other can't be there for you, because they're individuals too, and they go through things. And the same, and it's vice versa. Like, sometimes your friends can't be there for you. You have to show up for yourself. And if you don't have it to give for yourself, you can't share that space with anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. And it's learning that, like, if you aren't emotionally safe with yourself to allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're going to struggle in that vulnerability component. And it's scary to be vulnerable, right? And I read this quote last week, like, when we operate out of fear, it's because we're afraid to experience the same kind of pain, not because we're afraid to try something new. And that was like, wow, you're right. It hit so hard. I was like, oh. And it's because we don't want to have to go through that again. But we also don't understand that we sometimes look at the things that we go through as losses instead of lessons. Instead of, we say, why me? Or why is this thing happening to me? And think that, one, we're alone going through it. Nobody else can relate to us. And so sometimes we isolate, we shut down, we don't talk about it. But we also, the biggest thing we tend to forget is the lesson that we're learning from this. You can't change anything from your past. You can't unsee something that's already been done. You don't get a redo in life, but you do get to change your narrative. You do get a shift. And that shift has to start with you wanting that shift. It's hard. It's not easy. You have to show up for yourself every single day. And y'all, let me tell you, you get frustrated. You ready to give up. But then on this journey of healing, what I have to remind myself is, the person that I am today couldn't, and I've seen this quote too, the woman that I am today wouldn't be able to sit in a room with the woman that I used to be. Because it's like, who is that person? So I'd rather fight harder to continue to on this path of righteousness to become my better self than continue to operate out of the same space that I did a year ago, a few months ago, a few weeks ago. Growing and healing is everlasting. You're always going to continue to grow. You're always going to continue to change, because if you were stagnant and you stayed in that place, then you wouldn't be where you are now. You would still be in that same space and operating out of that same place that you were months ago. So don't be afraid to change, and recognizing that it's all a part of the journey and the process for you to really learn how to become your authentic self. So don't be afraid to heal, and don't be afraid to lose people and to unlearn the things that you once thought were correct. It's one of the most powerful, life-changing experiences that you can go through, is to unlearn the things that you thought you knew, to challenge the beliefs that you have, because you begin to see that there's other options. You begin to see that you have a voice. You begin to receive love from a healthy place. We associate love with pain and sorrow and misery sometimes, because that's what we're so used to, that when we receive good people in our lives, that's when that self-sabotage come up. That's when the dishonesty comes up. That's when we operate out of a space of not being real, because we think, okay, if I act this way, I'm protecting them, when really you hurting yourself and that person by not being honest. That's it.
That's awesome. I have something to say.
Go ahead.
If I may. Okay, Ashley, everything you said, you already know where I am and where I come from. And Katherine does too. Not everyone knows on this call. However, talk about living life with a shield on, and I'm okay. I'm great all day, every day. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How are you? You know my job. Coming from managing a restaurant and working and living like I was normal was crazy when I think about it, because every day I'm the one with the smile. I'm the one trying to make sure my staff's okay, because I had to. I had to keep the business running. My boss, I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? What do you need? Every time someone asks me, all of my customers, all of my employees, hey, how are you? I'm great. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I did that for 15 years. Mm-hmm. during work, but in addition to that, just normal. When I turned 17, my molester passed away. So that's when I passed away. So that's when my life ended. That's when I started to act normal. I started to act like a different person. I just wanted to be normal, you know? So reprogramming my mind and my mental mindset to be somebody that I wasn't was crazy, which is what I did my entire life up until last year. I had to pretend to be someone that I wasn't. Fast forward, and it's crazy because it's just like, you know, and then you mentioned wanting to shift and wanting to heal and wanting to be better, but you can't. I also had people that I confided in, a person that I thought was my best friend, who ended up talking about me and the situation to someone else behind my back, saying things like, oh, well, she knew what she was doing, or she shouldn't have done it, or she must have enjoyed it. How could you possibly speak out of your mouth that someone being molested enjoyed it? Seriously. So, and this is coming from a best friend, right? Okay. From 13 years, from 13 years old, like a 8th grade best friend, not, you know, and I'm 41. So imagine how that feels when you find that out, right? And then not knowing that when you go to your ex, who's supposed to be there for you and in your corner, and I confide in this person, finally build up the strength enough to even talk about being molested is hard enough, and then I don't want to hear that. So you're knocked like 25 steps back after building up this confidence. So it's like, it's no point in even talking to anybody, because it's not going to be. So, you know, you go to counseling, go to therapy, everything that I did. Sorry, I got a call coming in. Everything that I did, counseling, therapy. And then I'm sitting there, but you listen to the lady like, okay, well, what happened next? And then, so how did you feel when this happened? How do you think I felt? The therapist and the counselors drove me crazy. I'm like, what? They weren't the loving compassion. It wasn't the comfort that I needed, you know? It wasn't what I needed. It was what people thought I needed. It was what I thought I needed. It's what I had to pay for and waste money on. And they were doing a job, but the people that you want to care, that are supposed to care, from friends to family, wasn't there. So you mentioned new people and new circles, and you know, I have people in my life now who are here and who have been here for, you know, the last few years, 5 years, and those are the people that it feels like we've been together forever, you know. But finally free, finally me. When you reach that point of happiness and being free, nothing else matters. So I don't know, I'm gonna take up too much more time, but because everything I said, everything you said is just everything that I am, everything that I was, everything that's going on. And yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not gonna take up too much time. We'll maybe host another Zoom. What'd you say?
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love. I love you.
I love you too. So I pulled some energy, collective energy of where we are. And so it's our energy based on our chakras, and also I pulled some scripture cards I would like to share with you all. So the first card that comes out, our energy, is using wisdom and discernment on this journey. Using wisdom and discernment. We also have peace. We have willpower and determination. We have self-worth and self-esteem, and how we get to express our voice, our way, our experiences, and release in a healthy manner is through creative expression. So, LT, when you say finally free, finally me, your brand, also with Hush, her untold stories heard, things like that, those are creative outlets that we're using to be able to express what have hurt us, how we are healing. Because when we share that, when we keep all of that heart within us, we don't get a chance to actually like release in a healthy manner, because we have to express ourselves in some type of way in order for us to let it go and to get it off of us. And so how we do that is through creative expression. Like, Ashley, you always have the most beautiful spoken word pieces ever. Like, seriously. So things like that. I would like you guys to just take notes on both of these scriptures. And, you know, numbers are vibrations, so I'm also going to break them down into angel numbers to share with you all. But the first we have is Proverbs 3:26. Proverbs 3:26. And it says, the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being snared. We also have Proverbs 16:3. Proverbs 16:3, and it says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. Now let's break down 3:26. 3:26 carries the vibration. It says it represents you must work hard to achieve your goals, as your guardian angel will guide you. This numerical sequence brings energies with clarification on issues that permeates your life, and you will be able to travel more peacefully in ways to achieve your personal goals. And that's what we talk about with peace, like facing those things that hurt us will help us to get to a more peaceful place. And let's go for the vibration of 163. And it tells us that our prayers have been heard, and we are receiving guidance and assistance from our angels. And it's important for us to use our intuition and our gut feelings when we feel something. We intuitively already know what's right, what's wrong, what is for us, what is not for us. And when we actually listen to our gut feelings in those areas and in those situations, we know how we're supposed to move forward. And that's when you use the wisdom and discernment. Okay, through everything, we have to use our willpower and determination, because we are pretty much breaking up the ground of what was once, and then moving towards what is meant for us now. So I would like to do breath work with everyone. Okay, so just go ahead and just like release, stretch. We're gonna do some breath work and some singable really quickly. And then if you have anything to share after that, the floor is open to whoever would like to communicate. Okay? Ready? Just breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly. Release what doesn't serve you. Learn to let go. Breathe. Continue to breathe deeply. Whenever you're ready to release. Is there anyone else that would like to share anything this evening? Is there anything anyone would need help with a problem solving question? Anything at all?
Well, I wanted to elaborate back on some of the things I heard and the support system that Ashley talked about. I think a lot of people, that's a takeaway. I think a lot of people don't have that, and or they can expand on it and try to get a better support system, because that's very important, whether you're single, married, or with someone, significant other. Having that support system is that's a blessing. Authentic support system that can help you grow, support you, and just make sure that you are being your absolute best. That's rare to find, and it's worth having. It's worth having, no matter how big or small they are. Another thing I got from just listening is to kind of humble yourself, uh, so that you don't be all up here and then you scared to come down here. Humble. The Bible talks about being humble. That's one of the fruits of the spirit, is being humble. And I have to remind myself. It helps me better understand other people when I come from a humble perspective. When I humble myself, you're like, I understand that could be me, or I can understand their journey or the path they done took has been challenging, just like mine may have been. So you gotta kind of understand one another and humble each other and be compassionate with people, because everybody is going through something, especially in this pandemic. Pandemic done took it to a whole nother level. What what people was already going through, this pandemic just done, and they say mental illness is up, domestic violence is up, and other negative things is up. But we know it's some blessings and good stuff going on as well. I don't want to beat the drum on what's broken, but we should be mindful that this times we're living in right now is taxing on everyone. So it is good to kind of do some self-reflection, spiritual practice, whatever helps you be lifted, because it's easy. I have to encourage myself a lot during this time, and I consider myself a pretty positive person. I even too have to encourage myself, because it's trying times, and this too shall pass, and we just have to be strong. And this Zoom call is very helpful because we get to talk and share some good ideas and just see, everybody is pretty much going through the same things. So, and those scriptures I'm gonna look at and lock those in my phone, because I always like a good scripture. And the breathing stuff was good. I almost went to sleep, but I came back. I'm glad you hit that the bell, the bowl, because I almost was about to go to sleep. So that's all I had to say.
Okay. I would just like to share one aspect of how I was able to align myself with my tribe. Um, it was very difficult in the beginning because, like what Ashley was talking about, I didn't bring myself down here to be able to communicate what it is that I truly even needed, because I was so prideful. I felt like I was a burden if I shared anything. I felt like I wanted to keep. I didn't want to be transparent neither with what with fear of being judged for whatever reason. So it was a lot of things for so long that I kept inside of me. And it was until I reached my breaking point in 2018. I literally just reached my breaking point. And even still, like, I really didn't even learn the importance of transparency. I practiced transparency, but I didn't really learn the importance of transparency until a year and a half ago. And I was like, okay, at this point, I am going to have to not only practice what I preach, but open myself up, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to get to the next level of what I truly desire if I stay stuck in my emotions of what I previously, and you brought a very valid point, Ashley, when you were saying like we keep reliving these moments. We're not allowing ourselves to open up to new people and to new situations and new experiences, because, you know, we keep harping on, well, last time I did this, this is what happened, and I don't want to feel this anymore. So, how I, you know, I pray a lot to, for wisdom and discernment, and I pray for, you know, the doors to be open where I can at least begin to even see who I should let in and who I should, you know, allow to exit out of my life. And I did that by understanding what do I need, and with acts of service being one of my main love languages, I said, okay, well, what is it that I really need? Because if acts of service is my love language, and I'm not even being transparent on what I need help with, I really need to get it together, you know. So then people, you know, it's like when I raised my vibration and I started, you know, acknowledging what it is that I need and practicing on that, then that's when people will come in. And it still was very difficult for me to even be transparent. So it was more so of me just recognizing what type of love language I am looking for. What type of love language do I give out to understand how can I align with my tribe? Because we can align with people and they not resonate with us genuinely. We know that they love us. We know that they have our best interests at heart, but they're not really resonating with our spirit and what we need in that moment. So when I speak of love languages, that really was like a gateway for me to even understand who I should even let in my tribe, you know. So that was just something that I just wanted to share. I appreciate y'all so much for being here, for us having this platform, for y'all participating in this platform, because it truly is so helpful for all of us on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, for us to just come here in a non-judgmental atmosphere, aligning with our tribe, and being able to just like release and lift our vibrations. So I love you all, and I just wanted to just say that. That's it.
Love you too.
Love y'all.
Love you more, and thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely.
You know, I got
And
to.
speaking of COVID, please pray for my family. I'm actually going to the store now. My sister has COVID, Jamie. She's 20. My dad and my stepmom. My dad's doing really bad. He has body aches. My stepmom was doing really, really bad. She was actually in the hospital. I don't know, all of a sudden, and no one was around anyone. I mean, everyone is separate. So my sister lives with my mom. So far, my mom's fine. So
Definitely.
just pray for everyone.
Yes.
And my grandma's not doing good. She got that vaccine. She got her second shot Saturday, and now she's really, really weak. She's stuffy, like she can barely talk. She was in the bed all day today. So I took her food earlier, but I don't know. It's just a lot going on. So
Sending prayers your way, LT, for you and your family.
thank you.
Yep, prayers. Definitely.
Ashley, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
I was actually going to ask if you can end with a prayer, so I think that's timing.
That's what we're about to do right now. Okay. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to spend this time together. Thank you for allowing us to align ourselves. We ask that you hear our prayers. We ask that you continue to bless us and guide us and give us love, provision, discernment, and wisdom in times where we do not have it. Right now, we want to pray for those who are sick and shut in and those who are weak. We want to pray for emotional support. We want to pray for physical support, for them to become healthy, for them to heal from all the things that hurt them. We want to pray for Latanya's family, for them to recover from COVID. We know that this is a very strenuous time that we are going through right now, and it is affecting all of us differently, but all of us the same way. as well. And so in this moment, we just want to just pray for her family. We want to pray for each and every one of us that's on this call and for those that could not make it today. We also want to pray for Adrian's family, because they are battling with COVID as well. And this is just something that is just very strenuous and heartfelt. And we all feel this in some type of way. So we love you. We know that when we believe and we put that energy out there, you definitely show up and show out. So we definitely believe. And so because we believe, we receive. So we love you so much. We give you all the praise and glory for everything. In your son, Christ Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Thank you.
Welcome.
And hi, I'm Gail. I just wanted to thank Ashley for inviting me, but I enjoyed, listening to you ladies. I kind of was in and out, but thank you for all the wonderful comments and everything you guys had. And hopefully I'll have something to say next time.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Can you please put your email address in the chat? We're going to make sure that we send you the email following up after, just so you just stay like in tune with everything that's going on.
All right, I will do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love y'all. And my last thing is that this is our space. We are our own tribe, this platform. So
hey, that's what I said. It's on. It's on. Yep, love y'all. Thank y'all. And just stretching out, I know it's going to take a move of God, prayer. I heard that, to even be able to identify who to let in your space, because you don't know people, and they wear so many masks. You don't know people, and that I'm definitely going to be praying for the right people to be in my life that can help me and I can help them. So I feel grateful. I'm grateful. Thank y'all.
You're welcome. Say one more thing, and that's so true that you say that, Lynn, because I read a quote earlier that said salt and sugar look the same.
God's so alive.
I'm still in that one. They look the same.
They do. And with asking, like when you start praying that prayer, I'm telling you, be careful, because it's gonna be people that you're gonna be like, oh, okay, your face, literally, yes. You really, you? And LT, when she talked about that best friend, I had a best friend of 6 years, and man, it got ugly, and I'm like, oh, you gotta go, you gotta go. And
that's what I'm saying. You don't know who to trust.
Yeah, like now, like when I say I'm surrounded by amazing people, and to just be in this space, and I was telling Katherine, like, and I know I'm young, and y'all gonna bash me a little bit about that, but the first time in my life where I'm stable and I'm actually experiencing peace and joy and happiness. And I think back to the moment when I actually met Katherine and LT. They didn't even know. Like, I was having a whole breakdown, like couldn't talk, couldn't do nothing. And to see that transformation in just a year, and for them to be a part of that tribe and to be a part of that support system and dynamic, like, it's amazing.
That's divinity. That's divine right there. That's in the spiritual realm right there. To even what you just said, I know that's God. That's spiritual.
Absolutely.
That's divine order. I know.
So keep working. Yep. You got this.
And for you to
absolutely.
For you to be able to be in that space, and for you to receive like what was actually like, coming forward, for you to realize that it was God, it was divine timing, it was divine alignment. Like that says a lot about you and how you were ready to receive what was coming towards you, because we all met each other at the same place, and just like and we talked about it, like how we was at the same events, and I was in my space, you was in your space, and we just kind of like aligned that way. And we both, it was a beginning journey for the both of us. And look at God. Okay, that's all you can say is look at God. He show up and he show out every time. And we just got to give him the praise and the glory for everything. And we all have spiritual gifts. We all have everything that we offer in our creative expression to this world. Our spiritual decree. you know, and I, you know, I'm happy to be received, and I'm happy to just be aligned. I'm so happy to be aligned with y'all. You know, I just want to say that I'm grateful.
Yes. Y'all have a great night. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week.
And Ashley, I just want to say you are very strong, and I love you because I couldn't tell anything.
Oh, thank you, Elsie.
You're welcome.
Bye.
And thank you guys.